Coach, great to have you once again on BYU Sports Nation.
Always good to have a fellow Jerome. I'm Jarom, but people
Jerome and Jerome.
Oh, there we go.
Let's go.
I like it.
Let's
there
go.
we go.
Let's go, baby.
Yes, vibes are good for sure. And vibes are good because you bring in a notable transfer who I'm sure you've been asked about like 78 times today, Coleman Hawkins. But from your vantage point, what has he brought from a leadership standpoint to your program?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. And I remember last time, y'all have the great room with the great energy in here. And, Coleman brings winning, right? He's been at Illinois where Brad Underwood did a great job. And for 4 years, NCAA tournaments, Elite Eights, Big Ten championship. And you can't replace that kind of experience. And so coming in, knowing that he knows what it takes to win and can set that example every day.
You've said you like guys who have a chip on their shoulder. Do you have plenty of those guys on the squad this year?
Yeah, I feel I do. I got, start with Max Jones. You're talking about a kid who last week of high school, he got his only college basketball scholarship offer to a Division II school in Tampa. Went in there with a chip on his shoulder and became their best player. After 2 years, transferred to Division I. Went in with a chip on his shoulder, became their best player. Now he's playing high major basketball, and came in with a chip on his shoulder, and he's working his way into just being an X factor for us.
Coach, you jokingly called Manhattan Manhappiness, and understandable with the basketball program doing what it's doing, and frankly, the entire athletic department is in a great place, but it's a common landing spot for some of, not just a few, but like multiple high-level transfers. So what is happening in Manhattan that you feel is a good fit for these guys that hop in the transfer portal?
Well, I got a great staff, and we've developed great relationships over the years. And then we have a great fan base and people who really care about the program, the athletics in general, and has done a great job with our NIL. And and as we move into revenue sharing, we've got, people on board to, max this thing out and do everything we can to give us both Chris, myself, Coach Mitty, and the other coaches everything they need to be successful. And so, and then when you visit the place and you feel the family environment that exists on campus. When I interview students on campus, I ask them why they picked K-State, and to a person, they say, man, because I felt like I was at home. Just feel that family vibe there, and the synergy between the town and the university is really special.
You interview students on campus?
Yeah, we do this thing called Hang with Tang, and I have a purple couch, and they set it up in different places in the student union and the cafeteria.
I love that.
I surprised the class the other day, sports marketing class, and at the business school, and walked in with the couch and sat down, and the professor, we set it up, and because they're learning about sports business, and so I got to answer some questions for them, and so it was really cool.
I love that you're doing
great.
this because Jarom and you'll remember this. We just did recently on BYUtv a feature on the great Bill Snyder.
I was just going to bring this up.
Yes.
Yes, it was awesome. I feel like these are like-minded institutions in a couple of ways. One, the tie of the town into the university is really important. It's a big identity for that town, obviously. And then Bill Snyder and Lavelle Edwards were very similar in their took programs that were literally nothing to amazing accomplishments, right?
Yes.
And the family element. It's been a good fit for BYU with institutions like Kansas State. It's been awesome. Like homies with Baylor, and the private religious institutions stuff. It's been fun. Now we have this new Big 12 with 4 new teams. What's kind of the vibe and the energy today as you kind of get introduced? And I know you've had coaches meetings already with some of these guys, but it's an even better league and an even more diverse league.
Yeah, you got to love it if you're a competitor, right? And that, 2 years ago, we were the best conference in the country, and we added new teams, and one of the teams that we added was the conference champion. And this year, with the best conference in the league, we added new teams, and one of the teams we're adding is picked to win the national championship. And we got 5 teams ranked in the top 10 in the country, and in the AP poll, and that's never been done before in the history of the AP poll. And then we've got, the Hall of Fame coaches that you're adding to it, and the great venues, and now you've got the time zone travel that we see impacts winning because it's happening in football, right? Like I think it's the teams are 9 and 17 to travel 2 or more time zones to play a road game.
Yeah.
And if you take Oregon out of it, because they're 4-0, right, then it's 5-17. So you got like all these different things that go into it. You got to go against a Hall of Fame coach, against a great roster, in an unbelievable environment that's against you, and you got the time zones against you, right?
Good
So,
luck.
yeah.
It's crazy, man. And I'm thinking, too, just off the top of my head, like a little bit, if we had the coaches form a team, like in your prime kind of deal, it'd be pretty good. Bobby Hurley running the point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would I'd be guard in and tackle, guard the water bucket, sit at the end of the bench, tackle anybody come near it. We let them dudes do their thing. Think of Bobby Hurley and Johnny Dawkins in the
That's pretty good backcourt.
Amazing.
And then you're like, you know what? We're going to assistant coaches. Danny Manning, you get in here. Yeah. Like there's a million amazing guys in this league.
Outstanding. Coach, BYU has certainly a new look with Kevin Young as a first-year head coach coming from the NBA, and they've got a revamped roster. What's your perception of BYU, having seen them last year, but then looking at what they are now?
Well, last year they were one of the hardest teams to prep for because their actions were so different, and you actually had to change some of your defensive principles, to try and take away some of the things that they did. And it was really hard, because they were so different and so good at what they did. And Mark did an unbelievable job. And I actually have a tie with Kev. When he was with the Phoenix Suns. We have 3 former managers or grad assistants that were with us at Baylor that are in the front office at Phoenix.
No kidding.
And so I'd go down and visit them, and I got to meet Kevin. They tell me about him and stuff. So
you already knew
the
about
whole
this
thing.
guy.
And then his brother Justin, who he just hired on staff.
Yep.
I've known Justin from way back as a high school coach. Because he was a talent evaluator and had a scouting service, and so has been friends with Justin for a long time. He was actually my go-to in Phoenix and what taco stands to go to.
Oh,
right.
He's a foodie.
Oh, he's a foodie.
Yeah.
No, he's a foodie. So man, I absolutely love those guys and excited for what is going to happen at BYU. Not excited to play against it, but it's exciting. And my guys down from that are on the Suns, they just speak the world of Kevin.
Yeah, he's excited to be here. It's funny, that first Big 12 meeting, I think, was in Phoenix, right? Uh-huh. And we said, hey, how was it? And he's like, I felt like it was weird.
Felt like an imposter.
Like, what am I doing here? All these guys, it's like, dude, this is your new league. He said earlier today he feels more comfortable now and everything with everybody. But he was surprised by how close the basketball world was. He thought there'd be this line of NBA and college. And he said, no, it's a big, happy family. People know each other, like you were just talking about.
Right, yeah.
Which is cool.
Now, as you, again, venture into a 16-team league, it's not like it's that much bigger. And you've already talked about the time zones being even more exotic and the travel there. But what do you anticipate will be the biggest change overall as you now take on 16 teams in the league?
Yeah, and that's 20 high major games in conference. So I doubt that anybody's going to go back to playing 7 high major non-conference games, right? Because that'll turn into 27. Maybe some teams will. I know that we had to cut 2 because we picked up 2.
Just scale it back.
Yeah, give yourself a chance, right? And so I could see that being a change that takes place. And then just whether there's a bye or not in those weeks to give guys a break. Man, it's because it's just a grind.
Right now there's no bye, correct?
Yeah, there's no bye. It's 20 straight. Yes.
That's a lot.
And so it can be.
Coach, we appreciate the time as always. We had our own version of Hang with Tang.
Hang with Tang. Yeah, this has been Hang with Tang, presented by TBD sponsor.
On BYU Sports Nation.
Yeah. We'll figure that out later. Yeah, next year.
Coach, we know we're your last interview, so be well.
Oh, this is it?
Take some
Congratulations.
food. Take some food. You survived. Take some snacks on the way out, and travel safely back to Manhattan.
Hey, thanks a lot. Go Cats.
Send it in, Jerome.